In my opinion, with that major spec missing, this is not a replacement for the D7200. This is a whole new segment for people who want something fast, but they want it small, light, portable, and somewhat dumbed down. In January 2016, Nikon announced the D500, a new flagship APS-C camera and a significant step forward over their D7200 that was released in 2015. The D500 introduced a bunch of stuff to that point in the market. 4K video, triple the AF points, XQD, crazy high ISO, crazy buffer, and just an overall great performer. Well, the update cycle has done a full circle. It's now time for the 7200 to be refreshed with the now announced D7500. Let's see how it stacks up. Okay, firstly, this is interesting timing from Nikon. They normally announce these things at the start of the year at either CES or CP+, and then they've been available around April. This time they're announcing it in April to be available around June. But that means the announcement's falling just before Easter and in the middle of Passover, so they're going to miss a lot of the hype that they normally would have gotten. Interesting move. Anyway, let's take a look at the specs of the D7500. My guess is that most people are going to be considering this compared to the 7200 or up to the D500. So they're the two I'm going to do the spec comparison on. Okay, first off, this is getting the 20.9 megapixel CMOS sensor from the D500. That's down from 24.2 on the D7200, but at 2 years newer tech, I'm sure it's going to perform even better. Of course, the ISO capability has expanded from 100 to 25,600 and boostable to 100,000 on the D7200. This is just ridiculous. So the native goes up one more stop to 51,000, but boostable up to 1.6 million. It's pointless. It is now the same as the D500, but you don't want to be up there. I mean, it would have to be I absolutely need the shot despite how terrible it looks type situation, like you're shooting a UFO or something, that you would actually want to use that kind of a number. In terms of frames per second, it's right in the middle. The 7200 was 6, the D500 is 10. This is coming in at 8 frames a second. That's with AF and that's uncompressed RAW. Now, lossless compressed RAW. Now, in terms of the buffer, this is a big one. It has improved the RAW buffer from 27 to 50, but it's nowhere near what the D500 can do. The D500 will do 79 RAW, but unlimited JPEG. This is still limited to just 100 JPEG. So if you're really doing, you know, the final of the 100 meters at the Olympics or shooting wildlife on safari, 100 buffer might sound good, but you'll be surprised how quickly you'll fill it up. It's got the same optical viewfinder coverage as the 7200. In terms of its AF sensitivity, same as the 7200, not as effective as the D500 in low light autofocusing capability. Shutter durability, same as its predecessor, not as durable as the D500, which is up at rated to 200,000. Take those numbers with a grain of salt. I regularly go past them and I haven't had a shutter mechanism fail on me. In terms of video, it's gaining the 4K. On paper, it looks like maybe it does it all as a single file rather than splitting it into 4 gig or approximately 3-minute clips, which would be great. Still limited to 29.59 though, of course. Of course, it has mic in and headphone out. This is gaining Bluetooth, but seems to be losing NFC. The D500 has all 3. So again, it's in the middle. I'll come back to this, but battery life, you're getting 950 shots per charge. In terms of the size of the actual body, it's a little bit different to the D7200, but not much. We're talking like 0.1 of an inch difference on each of the different measurements. It's noticeably smaller than the D500 though. Weight, it's coming in at 640 grams, and for this one you're going to have the option of either purchasing just the body or the body and the 18 to 140 lens combo. So that's the specs, but what does this all mean? Okay, so to summarize, the D7500 gets the great 20.9 megapixel CMOS sensor. It's getting 4K video. It's got the same pointless high ISO capabilities. It's got the same tilting screen. It's got the Bluetooth. but it doesn't get the 10 frames a second of the D500, doesn't get the outstanding 153-point AF system or the low light capability sensitivity for autofocus, and it's not getting the same crazy buffer. It's also gone on a diet though. The 7500 is now only 640 grams. That's 120 grams lighter than the D7200 and 240 grams lighter than the D500. Pricing, it actually seems to make sense. They have, at the moment you can get the 7200 for just around $1,000 on sale, and the D500 is $2,000. This one's coming in at $1,250, which seems quite reasonable. So what are we missing out on here? Well, there's two main things. First off is battery life. The 7500 is nowhere near the other two. It's 150 shots per charge less than the D7200 and another 150 shots less than the D500. They're all using 1900 milliamp hour batteries, but this is using the ENEL15A. The others are just using the ENEL15. So something's going on there and it's getting worse battery performance. And the big one, this only has one card slot. What's that about? The D500 is SD and XQD. The D7200 is dual SD. This is single SD. In my opinion, with that major spec missing, this is not a replacement for the D7200. This is a whole new segment for people who want something fast, but they want it small, light, portable, and somewhat dumbed down. This is not a top-tier APS-C camera with a single card slot and holding back on the AF system and pulling out some of the features to get it lighter and giving us lower shot performance. This is a new line, this is a line in the sand from Nikon, I think. They're saying that the D500 is your real workhorse, semi-pro or pro APS-C camera, and the 7500 is a really cool, lightweight enthusiast camera, but it doesn't have all of those features. Now, of course, depending on what you shoot, you can absolutely shoot professional work with this. It could meet your needs perfectly. You might only want one card. The extra, 102 autofocus points may not make a difference to you, but on paper, for me, the D500 is miles ahead. Those few little things that it has that this doesn't put it in a totally different league for me. It's professional, and this is kind of consumer, prosumer range. That's my 2 cents. Love to hear what you think. Do you have an APS-C camera from Nikon? Which one are you using? And what are your thoughts on the D7500? Let us know. I'll see you soon.